All right, we are live. Welcome, welcome. This is the Community Solidarity Response Network. This is our weekly webcast where we talk about some of the things that we've done in the past week, the things that we're working on right now, this second, and some of the things that we got coming up. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he, him. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey. This is the headquarters of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else here in Toledo. And Jabril Bey and Mike Leonardi had this crazy idea 7 years ago that you could advocate for justice, equality, and freedom and be outside of religion and politics and things like that. And their vision worked because we're here right now. What we're going to do right now, and as all, look, and today I have on a black walking suit, a black tee, I've got black pants and black boots, so almost like the black on black on black. Okay, all right. I'm not going to say that. And as always, then I got a fresh haircut today. All right, they cut it all off, so no fro. Today I've got my gray and blue glasses on by Optical by Twix in between. And this sister, Krista Moncrief, has a bus that she parks up at Swain Field, but you can find it on Facebook. Hit her up, make an appointment, get you some glasses, reasonably priced, extremely stylish. And as always, I'm dedicated to protecting, respecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is our weekly podcast. What I'm going to do right now is to pass it over to, a new face at CSRN. She's in charge of all of our research. Yeah, well, you just clap it. Somebody just clap it up a little bit, except for Jody, because Jody's busy. So, Brianna, could you introduce yourself, what you have on, and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Brother Washington. My name's Brianna Camden, and I'm a senior at the University of Toledo. As he said, I'm in charge of the research that we've been working with. I got on some black leggings, as Brother Washington is. He's got on all black, but I guess my shoes match my pants. Kind of new. Oh, Jody.
Yeah, we're going to introduce Jody.
Jody.
See how ready to go she is? All right, all ready to went after the revolution before? All right, but anyway, hey, that's our sisters, all right? That's why they leave.
See, that's Brother Washington switching up the order and stuff. It's okay. He trying to be on his phone like me, but it's okay.
Everything in for everybody.
So what's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I am a brown-skinned, big bear tone of a man that's covered in tattoos, crystals. My clothing is locally sourced from entrepreneurs or small business owners. I go by the pronouns him and we. And this is our mission statement. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in weekly, as you've done for nearly 7 years. We appreciate you so much. I just want to say spring and summer is coming around, so just prepare yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally, because life is draining, and doing the work that we do is especially draining when court dates and things reoccur that caused so much trauma last year. But here's our mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustice experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless.
All right. Let me text Renell. We got Renell Farrell on today, and we've got her on the side doing um, some beta testing for us. So let me bring on Renell.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for everybody out there that might be watching.
Yeah,
technical difficulties
right.
and stuff like that. Things happen. Technology isn't perfect, neither are people. So
All
I
right.
appreciate you hanging on there.
All right. So for right now, Renell, how are we sounding on your end? Is it a little bit better? Is it still pausing?
Sounding a lot better.
Okay,
No
great.
pausing.
Okay, great. So what we're gonna do, and we're doing this called a fishbowl. That's when you readjust and everybody see it, so it's all good. We're gonna have Brianna start with our guiding principles. We're gonna take a short break, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk about community violence and some of the things that we could look for in our youth, and some of the things that we could do. All right, are you gonna be ready for that, Renell?
I will be ready.
All right. All right, we are back. This is the Community Solidarity Response Network. As you see, regardless of what happens, hey, you see our bounce back. That bounce back is
We've
strong.
been live the whole time.
All right, well, that's
What?
it's all good. Well, you even saw what happens when things don't go as planned with Black people. All right, hey, we're
you gotta do
resourceful.
that label.
Yeah, because we're going to be talking about self-care and being resilient and making sure you can properly adjust, and people saw it live.
Yeah, and this is a podcast officially now, so things happen in podcasts that wouldn't happen on a normal scripted television show where you get to cut out and edit parts you don't like. This is life.
Raw material.
All right, okay. I didn't know it was raw material, but okay. All right. All right. Hey, Brianna, we're going to be reading our guiding principles. This is one of the things that we got from the movement of Black Lives back in 2015, and we adopted it to what we do, made some little changes so that it kind of applies to us in Toledo. Could you read? And then we got an ashe at the end of each statement. Tell me when you're ready.
All right. So the guiding principles for the Community Solidarity Response Network. All Black Lives Matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor and working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and Black women's lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children's lives. All Black lives matter and are creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we are currently living in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the impossible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must also be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct and loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-love is practiced in every element of what we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of all of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work they do builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our work on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, and intentional, essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts of their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe. All right, man. Okay.
And what does Ashe mean, Brother Washington?
Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Hey, thank you, everybody. Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back with Elder Renell Farrell. So stay tuned. This is the CSRN Video Minutes. Come right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant, inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober-safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
We are back. This is the Community Solidarity Response Network. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. We've got a treat for you today. We're going to talk about saving our youth. And I have someone that I've known for a couple of years, all right? Don't give it away, all right? Elder Renell, how you doing today, sister?
Hey, Brother Washington, and we've known each other for longer than a couple years.
Okay, all right. So
Um,
for the listeners out there, it's all right. It's all good. Hey,
Brother
thank you.
Washington, my,
Go ahead.
my name is Elder Renelle Farrell.
Okay, did I say Pharrell?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, Pharaoh.
Like
Okay, I got it.
let my people go, Farrell.
Pharaoh. All right, okay, I got it.
Not
I got it.
Pharrell, like let's be happy.
Right. Well, no, I was thinking about Rochelle Pharrell. All right.
Yeah, that's
So
my cousin.
okay, all right. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. Elder, thank you for being
Yes.
here. And one of the things that we that we do before we start, and no one corrected me on that, is that we always ask our elders for permission to start. And Jody will sleep at the wheel, obviously. Brianna will sleep at the wheel, and we even got Julian here, and he didn't even chime in. So, Elder Renelle, is it okay for us to continue and start our broadcast tonight?
Yes, you may.
All right. We want to talk about saving our youth, and I was watching a Facebook Live that you had did earlier, and it touched on some things that I haven't heard a lot of us talk about. What would you say to a lot of the parents that are we're losing our children? All right. What are some of the things that you would say? What are some of the things that are on your mind when you see this happen?
Well, first of all, I want to say that my heart is broke. Many of us parents are losing our children. We're losing our children by way of murderers, by other kids killing our kids. I'd like to say that there is a reason behind that. I said it earlier. I feel like a couple things: matters of the heart, that their hearts are wicked, and nobody's listening to them. And when I say that nobody's listening, these kids are crying out for help the only way that they know how. I feel like we need to give our kids the tools to succeed. I feel like these kids need a purpose. Right now, they're trying to find their purpose, and they're trying to find it in a negative way. I feel like we have enough basketball courts. We have plenty of things for them to do. I think that we need to meet these kids where they are. Find out the purpose. Find out their purpose. And if they don't know what their purpose is, why don't we help them find a purpose? They're running rampant around here. So without a purpose, what do? You run wild.
So what would you say? Well, for you, have you ever ran a youth program before? And if you did, what are some of the things parents should be looking for if they are able to connect with their young person and to have them in a program? What would the parents be looking for in a program that the young people could be involved in?
Well, thank you for asking, Brother Washington. I ran a program called Girl Sense, Young Girls on the Move. And it was for girls ages, well, actually grades, first grade through senior in high school. Some of the things that we did was, number one, I listened to them. I wanted to know what they needed before we even started the program. I met with girls around the city of Toledo to find out what is it that they needed. What could I bring to them? Instead of me saying, this is the program. I wanted to know what they needed. And what they needed, number one, is someone to hear them. Someone they could depend on. They needed help with homework. They also needed to be introduced to things that they wouldn't otherwise be introduced to, like college tours. That was one of the exciting things that our girls did. Another thing that we did is I got them involved with the community. You know, we planted pinwheels for abused children. I made them feel like they were needed. Children teenagers, we all want to be needed. And so if we just sweep them to the side, or if we're just giving them what we think they need, that for what? What would be the reason for that? For our own our own happiness? No. Our own edification? No. We need to talk to them. Go to the source, find out what they need, and let's try to deliver on those things. I gave those young girls tools to succeed. And that's what our youth, that's what they're missing, the tools to succeed today. They don't have that. You know, everybody has something to say about what they're doing. How about listening to what they're doing and why they're doing it?
Right.
You know, go ahead, Brother Washington.
Yeah. Also on the Facebook Live today, whenever something like this happens in our community, a lot of us will resort to the candlelight vigils. I attend them. Some of us will go to their house and visit people that I never visit. And we always say the same thing, if there's anything that I can do. What happens after a parent loses their child? What happens to the community? What happens to all of that help? What do you say to us out here that want to help? What are some of the things that we really need to be doing and really need to know, Renelle?
Well, Brother Washington, what we failed to say in the very beginning is that I am a mother of a murdered child. And so I actually understand what parents are going through when our children are murdered, when our children are taken away from us through violence. And so I'm glad you asked that, because when the doorbell stops ringing, when the text messages stop, we're by ourselves. And so what we need sometimes is just people to be quiet. We just need somebody to talk to sometimes, somebody to listen. Don't try to fix my hurt. Because there's nothing that you can do to heal this pain. I say that a Band-Aid can't heal it. Liquor won't numb it. An aspirin won't make that pain go away. So what I'm saying is we need people to just be there. And when we do need something, let us call you. Let us reach out then. But to bombard us with, let me know when you need something. Well, I always need something. I could use a hug. I mean, I always need something. But as a person that's going through the pain, at that time, we don't know. Because there's nothing that you can do to heal that heart. But, Brother Washington, you said something about the candlelight visuals and things of that nature. That is the perfect time. The perfect time, because you have all of these people, all of these young people out here who participate in those, who's affiliated in gangs, who participate in the street violence. That's the perfect time to say, hey, what do you think could have prevented this? What are you missing in your life? I want to hear you. This is the time I want to hear you. Yes, we're here for Timothy Trainum, my son, but now that he's gone, what could have prevented this? You're the closest thing out there to my son. What could have prevented this? Because we say, see something. If you see something, say something. What's the reason why they aren't saying anything?
That's right.
But that's the perfect time to talk to these young people. Don't, when I say meet them where they are, they're right there. Meet them where they are. They're right there. So we're missing it right there. They're not on this. They're not on this. They're not listening to this podcast. They're not on my Facebook page. They're not listening to the news. So how are they listening to what we think the solutions are? We keep saying to these kids who's not listening, tell me what you need. How can we prevent this? Well, we need to go to the source. Not you, not me, not the adults in the street. Go to the source. The kids who are killing people. The word on the street that is really, really, really young boys out here that's shooting people. Young boys. And what I really believe is that there's no consequence for them when they're young. Like consequence, a snap on the hand, and then guess what? They go right back outside and do just what they were doing, but to a higher degree.
Yep.
Because it's just like this. They're doing, they go to a counselor. The counselor doesn't know what they want. That's book stuff. What about street stuff?
That's right. That's right.
They're smart, yes. But again, we have to meet these kids where they are. And because we're not spending time with them for real, we're missing it. We're trying to be so sophisticated, so educated, and we're missing the buck. These kids will tell you what they want, how they want it, how much they want it for.
That's right.
If we listen, and if we go and wave the white flag, like y'all, we give up. Tell us what you need to stop killing people. Because at the end of the day, that person who took my son is in glory. I am the one, my family, we're the ones that are suffering. So was that their plan when they took him, to make the family suffer? Because my son isn't suffering. So how about educating them? Oh, hey, my son is not suffering. I'm the one. But they think they're doing something big by taking these kids' lives, and they're not. So what was the plan in the beginning? To make Timothy's mom suffer? They don't know.
That's right. That's right.
They don't know. So like I said, many of these kids are repeated offenders. And they're getting a slap on the hand. Like, what is the consequence? Seriously, what is the consequence for stealing a car? For robbing someone? Because it only gets higher.
That's right.
It only elevates to something different. What's the consequence for selling drugs? For hanging out after curfew?
That's right.
Think about it.
Elder, Jody had a comment. Did you have a comment?
Well, yeah. Basically the same thing. I run in a whole lot more circles now than I did when I was that age. But the stuff when I was that age, I would not be listening to this. I'd be trying to survive or trying to find some other rule to break because it was fun. The consequence not have I understand that all too well because I'll never have a mom to go back to and say I'm sorry or stuff like that. And we don't drill that into the head enough, especially in small connected cities like Toledo, which every weekend is this. And I have a friend, I do want to shout out Malik for your attempt and continuing doing that. It's difficult. It's hard. There aren't no big homies no more. This isn't, I'm going to threaten you into not doing something. They don't care. We stopped listening to them. I said it last week on the 419 podcast. We had a march for our lives. They had a march for our lives. And the next year, us as adults with grants and money to get and a face to put on the news, took it from them.
Wow.
But I hope that through all we seen last year, what we see, because this summer and spring is coming. Now you're going to be outside the house. Now, all this other energy and stuff, and like you said, basketball parks and all these camps and stuff, that's kind of telling them what they should do with their energy and talent. I liked it as a kid somewhat, but it made me more aggressive because then I had somebody to compete against, and that just led to I'm not getting a scholarship, so now I got to compete in the streets. was the closest thing to the street, the dope boy.
That's right.
So,
And I feel like it's really difficult to try and redirect these young kids, because you don't want to see them end up in the carceral system. You want to see them grow up and be successful and have a life of their own. But it's hard because our society is structured to just punish instead of focusing on restorative justice and helping people get resources and following their interests. So I'm sorry for your loss, and I thank you for coming today. But I feel like that's another thing that's difficult to attack, is we don't have a lot of alternatives to correcting this behavior and to try and not make it a pattern.
and see, that's the closest thing to our generation, the generation we're speaking to. Not to put you on the spot, but the generation we want to reach is right here in the middle.
Right. So, Brianna, let me ask you something. So, I'm not saying that I don't believe in rehabilitation, because I do. But at what age do you start rehabbing them? In the first grade, because in the fifth grade, they're out there robbing, stealing, killing, selling drugs. And so, should communities start teaching this in the first grade? Hey, you have a purpose, and your purpose is bigger than selling drugs, killing, stabbing, taking what you want.
Right.
I mean, so when do you start teaching this? And yes, I'm talking to your age bracket.
That's right. For about 20 years, I worked in youth prevention, and every few years, at one point, we thought that we needed to reach them in high school. Then after a couple of years, we realized that we needed to reach them in junior high. Now, here we are. Some of us that are in, not all of us, but enough of us to cause this problem. Some of us in prevention, in treatment, are comfortable. And when you talk about meeting them where they are, some of us don't want to go outside of our offices. So if you can't meet me on my Zoom, young man, if you don't look at my Facebook, young man, if you don't come to my church, mosque, synagogue, or temple, but we're not reaching them. A lot of us are comfortable in our jobs that's supposed to be teaching our youth, inspiring, our youth. So yes, we do have to get up out of our comfort zone and our spaces of comfort, or else we'll always be losing.
We're failing. We're failing, Brother Washington. Yep. We had a 14-year-old that was murdered last night. My heart is grieving. And since the beginning of the year, my heart is grieving. And so again, back to going to where they are, waving the white flag, saying, hey, we want to hear you. We need to go on the north, south, east, and west. We want to listen to you. We have to do that. I mean, it's imperative. I feel like this is a pandemic.
Yes.
This is a pandemic.
Before Renelle, before we go on our break, I had one other question to ask, but I wanted to shout out some programs that I know of that do make a difference. And there are a lot of young people that are making the right choice. And there's a program right here on the campus of St. Martin de Porres. It's called Breaking Chains, Making Changes. And they're upstairs of us right now. And obviously they have a lot of young people that are active right now in this program. So if anybody's watching this, if you wonder what are we going to do? Well, there are some people that's already doing the work. There's another program called the Chess Program. This is with a guy named Kenneth Carswell. He teaches American Sign Language in chess. And his program is always full of young people, but with your support, with our donations, I'm sure that he could do more. There's Tremaine Rayford and the program. Young Men and Women for Change, Sean Mahone. I've known Sean for quite some time, and he has been consistent with this boot camp, and he just recently had a Dose of Reality session. So seek out him. Seek out Dr. Tracy Perryman with Center for Change. She's making a difference. Brothers United with Avis Files.
Yes.
Hey, I need to get on some of these people's payroll because I'm shouting them out, and I don't mind doing that. Brother Rashawn at Soul City Boxing, Mystery Music with the brother Eric, who his parents at one point were the band leaders and band teachers at Scott, super famous family. I don't know why I can't remember their last name, but it's all good. A lot of programs. All right.
Commission.
Say that again.
The Arts Commission has a youth program. In years past, that's one of the things we've always tried to stray away from, being that, oh, you can't be an artist and be tough, but I break hearts every day with my words and my books and my artwork. And a lot of it helps you to externalize that pain.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to school and learn from some famous art teacher. You just need to be you and find a canvas that fits you.
Right. And if there's anyone that's watching this, say what's up in the chat. Jody took my phone away because I can't do two things at the same time. But say what's up with us in the chat. Google some of these programs. I saw a local radio DJ, Fred Lefevre, who I follow on Facebook. He mentioned a program called Pathways for Successful Leadership. Junior role models with Coach T. Coach T, if you're out there, you are not returning my calls. And I'm going to holler at you, all right? I'm going to holler at you. Sign you with Sign Your Organics. She has some things happening. She's got something happening with you. What
Saturday.
are you doing with Sign Your Organics?
Okay.
And how are you getting paid twice? But anyway, and Impact Toledo with Ty Cleveland. There are all of us. Look, I'm taking the L personally for recognizing that I'm not doing enough. All right. So I'm willing to take responsibility for my failure. And I know that I can be more engaged. All of us can do more. All right.
Yes.
Even if it means to promote the programs that are already making a difference, even if it means to put my hand in my pocket and pull out a crisp $100 bill and donate. You know, they need our support. All right.
Absolutely.
They need our support. Lastly, Elder Rennell, how did you make it? You know, I was with you, knowing you, when Timmy was taken away. A lot of us don't bounce back like you do, that you're able to talk with people on how to get through. How did you do it? What happened?
Well, Brother Washington, let me tell you something. I'm getting through. I'm not there yet. It is a process, and I'm progressing every day. And sometimes I go back and sometimes I go forward. And so God is he's my helper. He's my keeper. He's my comforter. I have a wonderful husband. I have a great family. And every day I just try to keep pushing through. Now I miss the mark a lot, but I understand that this is bigger than me. I believe that my son's death was not about him. I believe that there are people out there that need to know that they have a purpose, that they're loved, that they have a purpose, that they're loved. And so that keeps me going. That keeps me going. That keeps me living. You know, I just feel like that. I have a quick question though. Do you believe that we should just focus on kids who are doing well?
No.
Or people who we think that we can save?
No.
No. From my work, this is a multi-pronged approach.
Okay.
because the young people that appear to be doing well, that's just my assessment from what they look like from the outside. All right.
Right.
So I think that those of us that can work with our young people that appear to be challenged, we need to meet them where they are. Get
Yep.
off these Zooms and meet them where they are, and not lose sight at the young people that are struggling, but on the outside look like they're doing well, but on the
Right.
inside they could be losing it. So all of us need to jump in this at whatever our skill level is. And just because I do a good job from 9 to 5, I need to volunteer my services beyond 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us that do this type of work, I'm Superman from 9 to 5. All right. But when I get off work, that's when I should be volunteering my time and
Right.
on the weekends to make myself available. So yeah, it's a multi-pronged approach to this. And all of us need to be committed at whatever our skill level is, Elder, at
Right.
whatever our skill level is.
So just really quick, I do want to go back. Like I said, I'm going to be forever healing, but I just feel like I cannot afford, and I don't mean monetarily, I can't afford to lay in the bed in a fetal position, because then my son's death would be in vain. I don't want them to paralyze me. I don't want to be petrified. And I haven't yet figured out exactly what my purpose is in that. I do believe that because my son was home for a small time, I do believe that I'm leaning towards a homeless shelter for Timothy.
Right.
Only ages 18 to 25. My son was 21. Imagine living under. Have you ever been? I know you've been up under the bridge where you see all of these homeless kids, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
My son told me one of the reasons. The thing about it was when he was in that shelter for not even a whole month, he said, "Mom, I can't be in here with excuse my language, old crackheads, alcoholics, drunks, people stealing." I mean, how could he get his life together when he was afraid to close his eyes?
Yep.
Ages 18 to 25, these young men, Timothy's house is what I want it to be called. These young men need a place to for real rehab, to for real close their eyes and go to sleep and not feel threatened, to for real have somebody who cares for them, to help them with a purpose, help them figure out their purpose, dress them for success, give them tools to succeed, let them know that there are schools out here that they can get skills at to make a great future, so they can be great people in our community. These kids that are in gangs, they feel like they can't be an effective community person, because what do they have to offer? And look at us adults. Yeah, you're right. You ain't doing nothing right. You can't do nothing right. All you can do is steal. All you can do is cuss. You don't go to school. So when are we going to speak life into them?
That's right.
When are we, like I said, going to have some for real talk with them? That life, number one, is hard. That is not easy. But if you do this, but if you do this, but if you do that, things will be better for you. And you have all of these people supporting you because they feel alone. When my son died, before he died, he said to me, he said, "Mom, you're the only one who loves me." Are you serious? Let me tell you, the church was packed. It was a full house. But why did he feel like nobody loved him? That's how these boys feel, like nobody cares about them, like they don't belong, like this is what they have to do to feel like they're a part of us, because society is pushing them away because they don't meet the mark, because they didn't make the football team or they didn't make the basketball team. or their grades are only C's and D's. Well, guess what? Formal education isn't for everybody. Get out,
That's right.
get out of school and get a vocation. But who's being for real with them? For real. Who's being for real? And so that's what Timothy's house, if God willing, if I could ever get it going, that's what Timothy's house is going to get them. And I believe in God. God is my everything. But that's not what these kids want to hear right now.
That's right.
We have to get their trust. We have to get them to trust us. We have to make them believe that we care about them and that what they have to say is important. And so again, they're not listening to this. We got to go where they are.
Yes, ma'am. Elder Rennell, thank you. This is what everybody needed to hear. Get out, meet our youth where they are, and we can't act as if we're afraid of our young people.
No.
Let's get out of the habit of being afraid of what we as adults have produced. One of the things that we would always talk about in prevention, and particularly we would talk about children are actors, and they tend to act out what they see in us as adults. When they see us as fraternities, gang banging, when they see us in the faith ministries, gang banging, when they see us in the political arena, gang banging, then we are their examples.
Yes.
So as we're asking them to make that change, we need to be able to make a change in ourselves, or they'll find us to be hypocritical of the things that we're asking them to do that we're not willing to do. So, so all of us have a part to play in this, and our children are watching us.
Find your lane in that part. That's right. Find your lane. Sister Brianna, thank you. Brother Jody, thank y'all for having me. Brother Washington, you're always awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. And I hope that you'll come back soon so that we can talk about our community, matters of the heart, and how we can reach their soul. Thank you, Elder Rennell. So listen, everybody, this is the CSRN podcast, our weekly video podcast. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
We are back. This is the CSRN. How we come back like that? All right. This is the CSRN Video Minutes. Man, I got to give it up for Elder Rennell. Elder Rennell Farrell.
Yeah.
All right, L. Hi. Say it like Farrell. All right. Get it right. Elder Brunel Farrell for coming and speaking truth. What we want to do is I kind of got to process that just a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you all, what did you think about what Elder said? That way I can pay attention to some stuff over here. So, Brianna, what did you think about what Elder Renell talked about our youth and some of the things that we need to do? And then we can pass it to Jody.
I've been waiting for this one. I think the root of these issues stems a lot from capitalism and toxic masculinity. I think that's what is kind of the elephant in the room, that, you know, those shape our environment. And I feel like it's really hard to change the youth and change a person when they remain in the same environment. Toxic masculinity is, you know, it's hurting men and women. Men suffer from it because they're told that they need to be strong, they need to, you know, be the leaders. And so when they fall behind on that, or they don't feel like they're adhering to a certain standard, then you have mental health problems, and you start looking to external validation. You're not able to validate yourself because you're insecure about who you are, because society has told you what it means to be a man instead of you defining yourself as a man. And, you know, it's obvious how toxic masculinity hurts women and young women as well. But since we're specifically talking about young Black men this evening, I feel like it's important to point out the way that it especially harms Black men, as the stereotype of being the over-aggressive, you know, rapacious, you know, just beast, those racist stereotypes that still carry on today, that dehumanize our Black men into thinking that they have to be somebody else, and it's hurting our community. And I also want to mention how capitalism is killing our communities. And she talked about how people aren't getting time to talk with their children and get to the resource of the issue, and those are valid. I feel like if you think about it, it stems back to people working so much. People are so busy with work, trying to pay the bills, especially in these hard times of this pandemic, that nobody has extra time to go out and do youth outreach and ask about people in their communities, because our society is based on individualism and personal gain, that it's hard for people to see that outside of themselves. And so I feel like if we all start investing in our communities and building up community structures that empower each other, then that's when we can start to change our environment. And then that's when we'll start to see people change with that. When we stop putting so much emphasis, or maybe when we don't have to put so much emphasis on working and being mode of production, that's when we can turn back into family values and really get to rebuild a strong structure. Because, you know, the Black community has a long history of families being broken up. It started with slavery, and it continues today, especially through our carceral system. So I feel like if these are issues that we want to try and work to bring repair to, we need to talk about how toxic masculinity and capitalism are killing our community, especially.
Okay. It's awesome that you get to follow that. Jody, we just got finished talking to Elder Renell, and I'm glad that she was willing to share her experience with losing a child, and that's something that a lot of us can't relate to, but a lot of us are going through that right now. What was some of your thoughts in hearing her speak her truth, Jody?
Thought it was good, and it's definitely one of the things where kind of beginning, now that lockdowns and all this stuff is over, to remember to talk to each other. But now we've access to all these little blank portals that we don't really have to emote to each other. It just got to be a quick quib or some, what is it, Twitter, Vine, I'm getting closer to TikTok. Yeah, one of them.
How do you know when you're old? When you say Vine, all right? Hey, no, that's all right. I got you today.
To me, it's all the same thing. It's
Okay.
a blurb of what
Showing your
somebody.
age. I'm kidding.
Thank you, Brianna.
Hey, I'll take it back to chat room.
Okay.
But it's still the same thing
Yes,
that
sir.
we try and get all of these emotions flooded into one little small sentence. And after that sentence, you said you're better, I'm done. You said that you don't need help at this very moment when I want to help you. That's a lot of problem. I haven't lost a kid, but again, I've lost a parent to not police brutality, violence, but to murder, serial killer murder. And it's something I'm never going to get back. It's something that I'm pretty sure the person who did it multiple times wasn't thinking about their family. They was thinking about that initial rush of how I'm powerful in this moment and that nothing's stronger than me. And it's taken me a lot to get over that. This is 6 years of being an entertainer. Birthdays in a couple of days, anniversaries and stuff. But every year her birthday or when someone dies or I have to show up to her funeral or I have to think about that again. That I can understand your pain in the sense of loss. I'm never going to be fully there with you. So I can't be upset if you push me away or I hear from you 3 years from now and you need some assistance. We don't have that establishment set up to where we talk about prevention and all of this stuff and we get grants for it and programs, but there's nothing to do about it when it's happening. Tell you how to prevent it, tell you that the police is going to come after the crime is going to be committed, but that point in the middle, before it happens, before the idea pops in your head of being alone or isolated or trying to find somebody to fix that spot we're supposed to all have. You got to fill it up with jobs or programming and stuff. But I think if we listened more to each other, came out the house instead of trying to have a fundraiser or have something where you're supposed to be told what you do. And this is why I love art. That's why I wish I would have gravitated to it when I was younger, but I have it now and I can teach it to people. I can walk into any place, any room, anytime, anywhere, and be myself and listen.
All right. Oh, I want to thank you, Jody. One of the things that I wanted to bring up
matters to you. Wear the mask for me, it could save you. Your life matters to me. Does my life matter to you? If your life matters to you, wear the mask for me, it could save you. Your life matters to me. Does my life matter to you? If your life matters to you, wear the mask for me, it could save you. Your life matters to me. Does my life matter to you? If your life matters to you, wear the mask for me, it could save you. Fall back and check yourself. Fall back and check yourself. Fall back and check yourself. Fall back and check yourself.
All right. We are back. Before we get back, I'm going to check in on our prison industrial complex call. Give me 1 second, everyone. All right. All right, we're going to receive our call from our brother that's in the belly of the beast. For obvious reasons, sometimes our calls go through, sometimes they don't. But we want you to hear what's happening regarding COVID behind bars. What's happening with justice for so many that are locked up unjustly, and this is an ever-growing thing, so we hope to listen to Brother Omar soon. However, you see somebody with us, it's Julian Mack, Golden Rule. We used to call him Mr. Black Lives Matter. We call him a lot of things, but we want to talk about mental health and wellness. We want to talk about police reform with Brianna, who's head of our research team regarding that. We want to talk about George Floyd, and I really want to kind of just pass it to you. Start it out, bring Brianna in, and so what's happening with mental health? What's happening with wellness? Yeah. And what can you share with everyone here?
Well, one, I just have to say, I took some time out for myself and for my own mental health, to try to directly combat the difficulties, right, that come with, as Brianna so eloquently put it just a minute ago, that come with the difficulties of capitalism and the expectations that are put on us as Black men, and the rigged system, right, that comes with capitalism, the toxic masculinity of how we're taught to respond to difficulty, how we're taught to push down our emotions in an unhealthy way. And so, you know, in talking about mental health, I feel obligated to thank the community, one, the Community Solidarity Response Network and the movement. You all have saved my life time and time again. And I thank you all for it. I thank the community for being so supportive also. But I did want to talk about just the trial of Derek Chauvin, not the trial of George Floyd.
Make it plain.
Right? The trial of former Officer Chauvin, the murderer. And I want to talk about just briefly how this affects mental health. All right, I've had an opportunity to take some time away and to be in tune with the trauma that we experience with domestic terrorism that happens with our police state, right? We have a domestic terrorism problem with white supremacists, but we also have a state-sponsored terrorism. When we see these images, these horrible images over and over again and we have to think about what that does to our mental health. So I just want to put this out there into the internetverse or into the universe. You can be plugged into the movement, you can do good work, and you do not have to re-traumatize yourself by watching this trial. You will still know what's going on, whether you watch it or not. I promise you, when that verdict comes down, you will know what that verdict is. And it's important to be in tune with that and to know it's okay. It is totally okay to not have the capacity to process and watch a 9-minute murder over and over and over again, and to see the negligence of the police state over and over and over again when we already live it.
Yeah.
We live it every day. We know how bad it is. We've seen the lack of accountability. So prioritize your mental health first, right?
Because nobody else will.
Exactly. And if you go down that dark hole, that can happen from re-traumatizing yourself over and over again. You know, there is help available, but there may be nobody there to come and get you. That's the harsh reality of what it is. And when you go down in that hole, a lot of people don't make it back out of that depression, of that drug abuse, right? Of trying to cope with that trauma. So I just wanted to put that out there. I think it's important that us in activist spaces, we prioritize self-care by saying, look, it's okay if you don't have that capacity right now. So that's my 2 cents on that.
All right. Before we bring up, because we're talking about George Floyd, we're talking about the police. So we still on that, even though we talk about a lot of stuff. We still on the police. All right. Something's got to change. You know, something's going to change. But I wanted to bring up one of our. Whoa, man! All right, this is our activist hotline. Having anxiety, depressed, or stressed. For all of us in the movement, we have a number that you can call, people that understand us, that care for us and know us. 866-712-4401. Make that call. Does not mean that you have to be medicated. Does not mean that you've got to be confined somewhere. All of us need someone to talk to, me included. All right?
I definitely do.
Right. All of us need someone. So there's no stigma attached to getting help. Some of the strongest people I know have had to get help. All right.
And it takes strength to know when to ask for help.
Right.
Right. And that's why we need to shed that toxic masculinity. That is a false idea that we shouldn't add, that it's strong to not ask for help.
Right.
You're strong to ask for help. It's strong to be vulnerable.
Right.
And go ahead and the help is there.
Right. And unfortunately, as Brianna said, we got this right in front of us.
I know.
Hey, that's all right. It's all about us fellas. All right. No. But unfortunately, the way that society has shaped and molded us as men, that we grew up thinking only the strong shall survive. We grew up thinking that dog eat dog. We've grown up thinking survival of the fittest. You know, we've grown up thinking those types of things that always make us feel less than the celebrity that we see acting it out on TV. So yeah, brothers, let's if you're gonna man up and get help. All right, what about that? Let's normalize men getting help.
Yeah.
And breaking that generational cycle.
Right. All right.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And for our brown community, you can also, if you're depressed, if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling stress, the number is the same in Spanish. All right, 866. We have comrades standing by that are bilingual. All right, so it's the same battlefield, different battles. It's different battles in the same battlefield. So all of us can fight in different ways. So some of our comrades agreed to be on this hotline. That's one way we fight. All right, regardless if you are fluent in Spanish or English, we've got many ways that we fight. All right. Speaking another way that we fight, let's talk about police reform. All right.
Sí, señor Mohammed.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right, y'all. All right, y'all showing me up now. Listen, Brianna, you're part of our research team. Talking about police reform. What are some of the things that you found in your study, in your research, that there are ways and there are things that can happen here in Toledo that can make a change, if you don't mind?
Sure. So when I first started doing this research, my first task was to find a city that's close to the size of Toledo's population and see what type of progress they've made for police reform. And I used Salt Lake City. They've got about 200,000 people, and they've made some cuts from their police department's budget, and they are trying this new tactic called zero. I think it's still in the works, but zero budget, like basically starting from zero and then rebuilding their budget that way. They also have been introducing a social work program, which is basically like a police officer is paired with a social worker. Now, that's my problem with police reform, is that I feel like it always seems to just be performative steps instead of getting to the root of the problem, which is the structure. And I'm actually informed by this research because I'm a senior and I'm working on an honors thesis, and my topic is police abolition and how it cannot exist under capitalism because it requires communal structures. And so my other argument in that is that the police they are built off of white supremacy, and they serve that interest of white supremacy. And so that's my problem. And so that's why it's really hard in politics because you don't want to, you don't always receive people very well when you use language like abolition or even defund. So I have to be careful with my choice of words. The second part of my research involved reaching out, it was just finding contacts and looking at different departments in the city for different, social services. I've used like Department of Neighborhoods, youth outreach programs, domestic violence, mental health, different things that the police should not be in charge of. And we're asking them, if you were to receive extra funding, because we're working on refunding Toledo, if you were to receive extra funding, how would your department benefit, and what would be your one wish to use that for? So we're hoping that feedback kind of helps build us a stronger case, because a lot of people just see police, they think that taking money away from the police budget will cause an anarchy. And so it's part of this work that I'm doing is getting people more comfortable with the idea that the police don't need 33% of your taxes, like automatically. 33% of your taxes for Toledo residents go straight to the police budget. And that's a lot. When you look outside across the street and you see people, sleeping on the streets and not having shelter and being hungry and things like that. We're focusing on taking what we over budget for the police and redistributing that into the community. And so that's what a lot of this work has been for me. It's been ups and downs. I also just recently took a mental health break, which was nice. I'm coming back feeling refreshed. But it's gonna be a process, and it's gonna, especially for me, because I'm young, I'm learning how the real world works, and it's not just how, it's not just a college campus where everyone's there eager to learn. People are kind of, set in their ways for the most part. And so it's kind of been an uphill battle trying to introduce this idea to people, staying true to my radical Black self, and also, I don't want to say coddling people's feelings, but, getting them to work with me. So I think we'll see some great things come out of it, though.
All right. Take a short break because we're going to come back with Jody.
Yeah, I mean, I really thank you for your research, because it will be of great use. I promise you that. The mayor has a police reform committee that has been put together, and I'm one of people that are on it. We did meet, just to give you an update. We have met for the first time this year, and we met for the first time in person. There've been a lot of different discussions on what exactly are the changes that have been made. The mayor is committed to say anything we can find consensus on, we can change, which is difficult because we have police of all different levels intertwined within these committees, right? But we are still pushing hard for a civilian review board with power. We are pushing hard still in these rooms to refund Toledo, to defund police, and I'm so glad you use using the right language matters. Abolition, right? Abolition. There was a point when, we need to abolish this toxic state.
Right. How many times are we going to go through this talking about reform before something actually changes for the better?
And reforming slavery is still slavery.
Exactly. There would be people out there who would say we can reform slave masters. Those are the same people saying that you can reform the police, despite the evidence that we've seen and lived through, knowing that this is just a corrupt system that cannot be fixed. It just has to go.
All right, man. Hey,
boom!
Look,
drop the mic right there.
As you know, CSRN, we don't mince words. We tell you what it is. All right, and you're gonna have to deal with that. Hey, listen, just stay tuned. We're gonna come back with Jody Summers, child of the system, spoken truth. I think we're gonna either get into
Jody Bear.
No, we don't call him Jody Bear. No. Okay. All right, I'm not with that. Okay. All right, Jody already knows. But hey, look, hang on. We're going to come right back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
We are back. Hey, this is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. Listen, this is National Women's History Month, and we want to give a shout out to our Black queens. We had Elder Rennell on earlier. Last week we had C.D. Dotson Chambers, and we had Sabrina Jameson Barrett on. Did I say get those names right? All right. And today, hey, look, we got Brianna Camden. All right. Hey, CSRN research team. Ain't nothing to mess with. Hey, y'all don't know it. Y'all don't know about that. But hey, listen, I want to just give a shout out to some of the women that I know that are making a tremendous effort in the community. I know I talked about Avis Files earlier with Brothers United and so many other things that she's doing. Tracy Perryman, who is the CEO of Center of Hope. One of our Black Lives Matter awardees, Jody Tierra Armstrong. She has Heart to Heart. Shannon Ribbon. Hey, Shannon, we tried to get Shannon on earlier. We met Shannon. I think last year we went to at the Juneteenth celebration. We also met with Shannon at Reverend Charles Allen's church. That's right there on the corners or on his property at the corners of Bancroft and Franklin. And this sister has some phenomenal ideas regarding our youth. So we're going to try to contact her a little bit earlier, Jody. Just don't be calling people 5 minutes before. Anytime things go right, we just praise everybody. If it goes wrong, hey, Jody is his fault by default. I want to also give a shout out to Deidre Brown and David Davis Youth Center. This is a sister who has experienced life, and she has a lot of lessons to tell our young people regarding street life, street organizations, and making a change. And this sister did a phenomenal job of being consistent in our community, speaking the truth with no chaser. And lastly, I want to shout out Myrtle Boykins Lighton. Why her? Because she's my boss. All right. That's my boss. So, Miss Myrtle, if you're watching this, I am off the clock on this podcast. So, hey, and thank you, Miss Myrtle, also for allowing me the flexibility of doing the job that I do and assisting me and CSRN doing what we do here. I don't know if it's a little known CSRN fact. We had our second Black Lives Matter award, which was our college scholarship.
Yep.
No one knows how much Lyman Humidop and Miss Myrtle Boykins Lighton and her board of directors assisted us in making that a reality. So thank you, Miss Myrtle. Jody, hey, listen, we want to get right into anything that you had to add in our 5 minutes of heat. And hey, look, kind of put a wrap on this for today.
Yep. We want to thank everybody again for joining us each and every week. It is always in appreciation that you come and watch the podcast or share the podcast or rewatch the podcast. Again, hopefully with restrictions and all that stuff, we will eventually get back to doing the in-person meetings, which I think will be awesome. That way we get a chance to connect with you and you'll be able to respond to us directly. A lot of what you see now came from us knowing how to do the in-person meetings, and we kind of translated that into what we're doing now. Also, as I am the treasurer of this wonderful organization, I want to do the shameless plug and let you know some of the things that you could do to help support us, because this is a community-based funded initiative. We are not, or will never become a 50C13, because it's not for us to try and collect dollars to help people. We want to help people organically. So your donations, either through the Cash App or PayPal, shout out to a lot of people, Culture Clash, that's created stuff that they've donated back to us. Shout out to Gather Glass, who created the Glass Fist, not only for our Black Lives Matter awards, but in support of everything that was happening last year, right after we had the May Day, which I think that's a good name for it, and everything. But those are ways to help us. We also have wristbands, buttons, yard signs, T-shirts, water bottles. My artwork is on the site. If you go to the site on our page, you can click that little blue button at the top. It'll take you directly to our website. See everything that's coming up. We will be adding more community events since it is spring and summertime. And a lot of the events are outside, so they're able to post their things. A lot of times we see a flyer fly through our social media and forget it. So a lot of them are creating groups and organizations. So with that, I want to shout out some other women that are doing amazing things, this being Women's History Month. Sonia Ramel, who does the Sonia Organics. This about supporting us as well. Support Toledo Food Not Bombs, Planned Parenthood, any organization that you see, especially after this year that's just starting up, the ones up above us. I know you guys may not hear all the stuff, but I'm pretty sure you might have heard some of the kids in the background or before we move to Studio B that really need your support. Again, not everybody's looking for a government grant or a handout. So who owns the Colors Art Gallery in the Swainfield Plaza, and all the businesses that are in there that not only supported us during our Black Lives Matter Awards, but are continuing to build upon entrepreneurship and not having to work for a paycheck, not having to give up time that you could spend with your kids and your family and building memories, clocking in. I think that's some of the things. Shout out to the Truth Art Gallery. We just held a paint event because art is important. There's no other way to put it. You'll find out in 5 minutes to heat in just a moment. I'm trying to think of anything else that I might have missed.
No, we had talked earlier about our brother Omar Gent, who's in the prison industrial complex in Colorado, and we were waiting for a call from him. We're going to get a call from him, and man, please, if you got family that's incarcerated, check on your family, right? Make sure that they're good, because they're not able to socially distance behind bars. They're just not. And it's a horrible situation to be in, something that we're monitoring right here in at LCCC, right downtown, to make sure our brothers that's locked down, our sisters that's locked down, be treated as best they can. And also, Jody, be on the lookout for Juneteenth. We're
that's Shannon.
Right, we're preparing that with Shannon, Miss Lady on Facebook. All right. And also, we might be getting back to Bell Out Black Mamas.
Yes.
That's on our website right now. If you go to CSRN Toledo.com, that you can support us. And we thank Tina. Is it Tina Bell Bonds?
Tina Butts.
Tina Butts Bell Bonds. All right, for assisting us.
Or the movement.
And the movement for assisting us with the Bell Out Black Mamas last year. And lastly, either for Juneteenth or Black August, we're working on getting that billboard back up. So we're going to be hitting you up again to get that billboard back up, show our pride and how much we love ourselves, and make that huge display for the city of Toledo. Jody.
And there's one more event going on that's happening. It's not going to be on the actual day, so everybody's like, but shout out to Endo, who's up at the spot. He does the Strike It Rich Entertainment. He's putting on the 419 Day. I believe that's
That
still
is
going on.
correct. Yes.
So
Toledo Day. Yes.
if you always want to have something to go into, again, this weekend you got Sonia Ramel, who's doing this Sonia Organics. In a couple weeks, you'll have the 419 Day. So shout out to them and contact them if you're watching, if you would like to be a vendor, if you have some words to say of encouragement. I'm still a little bit in shock compared to my birthday last year. This year, it's kind of like the whole city is coming out to celebrate me. I know it's not just me, y'all, but yeah, so that will be a very fun event. So
we ready for 5 minutes of heat?
there we go. I was just waiting on the cue.
Okay, all right.
But I guess he lips moving and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Never mind. But so 5 minutes of heat. Again, I've done the last couple of pieces for Women's Month, and this one I'm going to do as an appreciation of all people. Yeah, my anniversary was March 23rd, 2015. I stepped on the stage and decided I couldn't listen to anybody no more. I couldn't learn from people who weren't really trying to teach. They were just trying to go to the next fundraising event. So I had to find out on my own. I had to go places I didn't want to go. I had to go into rooms I didn't want to go into and learn how they functioned. Because they were functioning and whatever else was going on wasn't. So, simple man, let's begin. Peace. I would love to live up to the person people make me out to be. Strong-willed, outspoken, never sheds a tear. Always has something positive, yes, positive or inspiring to say. And always a smile, yes, always a smile upon my face. But I am just a simple man, you see, who most of the time I am filled with fear, regret, and responsibility. But hope, yes, hope, that this simple man, yes, this simple man can bring some type of unity into his community, where I bear the full weight, the full weight that I cannot fail because there's no one, absolutely no one to catch me if I fall. Just a simple man looking for someone to trust as much as I believe in myself and not be deceived by the few lost souls whose hearts are hardened and calculating from trusting just one too many. Just a simple man that is seen through the eyes and lives of others and wants to do more for the lost, forgotten, misunderstood, outcast, yes, outcast and rejects, whose only crime is believing that there is no box. Yes, there is no box but the one that you create. You see, I'm far from being rich and too informed, just too informed to simply ask for wealth to fix it all. So I lend you my ear knowledge from past mistakes and hopes just to reach one, yes, one that will evade most of the mistakes that this simple man has made the time given to him. I want more than I believe time will allow me to complete. I am a simple man with dreams bigger than my wallet and hopes and imagination that cannot be quantified, calculated, or determined, just determined by someone's doubt. But what makes me a simple man, you see, is not faith, age, race, fear, income, or pain. Yes, pain. But the fact that while I speak, you respond. Yes, you respond. And I know I'm not alone because I still, yes, still have the attention of those I have yet to reach. In peace.
And we snap our fingers. All right, all right. I want to thank Jody, Brianna. Julian is off camera with our solidarity pledge, and he's going to be a part of our call and response today. I'm going to say I. You say your next. Oh, how did he come right behind? Okay, all right. But Julian,
I'm so happy to be back, y'all.
all right.
I
I
say your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study to improve myself.
To study to improve myself.
Spiritually. Mentally. Morally. And physically. For the benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family. And my people. I say your name.
Child of the system.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To be a part of the solution.
To be a part of the solution.
The process.
The process.
And not the problem.
And not the problem.
I say your names.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To give all that I can spare.
Of my time.
Of my time.
My strength. And energy. To achieve. The above said. Now give yourself a round of applause.
All right. Tell us how you really feel. Listen, family, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for being with us today. Hey, welcome back, Julian. All right. Hey, welcome, Brianna. All right, welcome, Brianna. All right, welcome, Brianna. And if you don't know, our lead administrative core, we're going to talk about Women's History Month, and you ain't even, come on now.
Thank you, Ruth.
Right.
Shout
out to Ruth. She's on self-care break right now. I think I'm next. All right. Hey.
I take over. We've done it before.
Look, I do my self-care when I press in meeting for all. You don't know what that means, you just don't know. But engage in self-care, engage in the numbers that we listen, engage in some of the things that keep us healthy so that we can come back. And as we always say, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else. Peace. All right.
I say.
Okay, all right. Let me end the broadcast.
Yeah,
Let's